Alright. Hello, all of you terrible people. Welcome to Lucy's Couch. I am your host, Lucy, and if you are coming back for my first video, welcome back to the couch. I am Lucy. I'm saying that again, and I am sitting on the freaking couch, as you can see. So before I get too deep into things, shirt of choice. Today's shirt of choice is not much of a shirt at all. It is actually a hoodie. It's a hoodie of choice, and that is because I don't like how my hair looks today. It doesn't look too great today, and I like it better with the hood on. Purple is my favorite color also, and I want to be comfy, although I'm going to be sweating like a freaking pig. This video was actually supposed to be a whole nother video. It was going to be a video about AI and art and the automation of it, and how that just all ties into one big horrific, disgusting cash grab mess. But that video, unlike my last video, was scripted out, and I'm not too good at scripting a video out and making it a long enough video, because it just became really short, and on top of that, it didn't sound too natural. So I overestimated my ability to make it sound natural and my ability to script it out and make it a long, thoughtful, well-informed video. So here I am back with something different, something that I can speak on more off the top of my head, because that seems to be what I am best at the moment, and something that actually gets me a little heated. I can't say that like the last video, it's something that I have real world personal experience and struggle with, but this is just something that, because I am so chronically online, so extremely online, that it does tick me off a little bit, and I am going to be kind of a Scrooge about this. I'm going to be a little bit of a Scrooge about this, because someone has to be. Too many people are in support of this. Too many people get too deep into this, and a lot of people take something that was just supposed to be small and original, and take something that really wasn't supposed to be too much of a big idea, wasn't supposed to be too much of a big guy, and then they'll take it and they'll twist it a little bit, and that's not the problem, but then they'll twist it, they'll turn it, and they'll make it something that it completely wasn't supposed to be in the first place. And of course, I am talking about liminal spaces. And you know what? I would say don't even get me started, but you can't tell me to do that, because I am definitely gonna get started. Now, I understand that this seems a bit like something that is so pointless to get heated over, and just so just stupid to get heated over. However, I'm the guy that is likely to get heated over things that no one else will, essentially just because I'm a stickler, and I'm gonna make a whole video just about this, because I am that flipping guy. Not gonna lie. So how I'm gonna get this started is I'm gonna talk about liminal spaces in general. What are liminal spaces? If you don't know, however, you should know by now. But what are liminal spaces? What is within the confines of a liminal space? What is not? Can the confines be stretched? What is reaching too far? What is taking it too far? Those sort of things. So to begin, a liminal space is a space in between 2 points of destination, I should say. It is that place in between. Maybe not necessarily destination, but it is that place between two important places. Okay, so if you have point A here, and then you have point B all the way over here, a liminal space, at least by definition, would be considered that place in the middle, A.5 or maybe B.5, whichever way you want to say it. So like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a destination, but it is largely considered a place between two places of interest. Yes, by definition, that's what it is, but if we're talking in internet terms, and terms of analog horror, in terms of internet entertainment, and just chronically online people in general, it is considered this sort of place that could have once been filled with people, or just this place literally in between places that is a little eerie. It's a little maybe nostalgic, It is off-putting. It is devoid. It is empty. It's just something that feels so unreal about it that it might even just terrify you a little bit, or just fill you with this sort of dread and maybe sort of dark nostalgia, depending on the liminal space that it is. So, if you still don't get it, here are some examples of that all around me. So that is what is largely considered a liminal space, and if I have picked good pictures while editing, then you should kind of get the idea of nostalgic, devoid, place in between places, eerie, off-putting. You get the idea. I've said enough about that already. I'm going to pull up the original Backrooms post before we get into this. You should be seeing a picture of that now. So, the caption reads, "If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you." Now, this was the original Backrooms post. This was the post that started it all, and this was the post that started, flickering light bulbs in people's heads, or I guess I should say above people's heads. It really just sparked a general curious sort of dread within people. It sparked this idea of, how would you survive? How does this place even exist? What exactly even is this place? What kind of heights could this concept be taken to? What other comparisons do we have of this? And the Backrooms really had started a whole cascade effect of liminal spaces that people were looking for and photographing out in the real world, or just creating via Photoshop and rendering and things like that, because of the Backrooms. And people were just so fascinated with this idea that they wanted more of it. They wanted to take it to new heights, and this generally just started off as Reddit communities that would post these pictures of liminal spaces and maybe add their own captions, maybe create their own stories around it, and fill people with a new, different, more expansive kind of dread. Nowadays, you can really just look up liminal spaces or other Backrooms related topics and scroll for hours and really think on the nostalgia and uncanniness of this sort of what has become a genre as a whole. So naturally, when analog horror became a big thing, we got things like Local 58, the Gemini Experience, and you got things like the Walton Files and every other thing that had followed. Someone finally got the idea to take the Backrooms and make it into their own sort of analog horror and their own sort of analog series, which was a great idea. The Backrooms should have been one of the first things that should have been made into it, and I can't believe that someone didn't have the idea sooner. But eventually, this very talented young man, about my age, maybe about 18 or 19 now, he created the Backrooms analog horror. And the first clip was just, it was really simple. It was unique, but it was simple. It was just this guy who's recording videos with his friends, and then he ends up no-clipping out of reality via falling through the ground, and then he lands into the Backrooms, and he ends up running around, lost, dazed, and confused, and eventually he runs into this really lanky, black, almost walking tripod-looking creature. And then it ends with the camera no-clipping back into reality. However, the camera does leave our main character behind, and our main character is stuck there. And this really parachuted the Backrooms into more of the public eye, more into the algorithm, and ended up coming before people who were in communities like the SCP community, which is just endless upon endless posts and new monsters and creatures to essentially secure, contain, and protect. The difference that this has with the SCP community is because the SCP community was something that was made to sort of be endless. It was something that was left and made to be a concept of sorts, and it was a thing that is sort of a ongoing canon internet creepypasta type series. So it is made for people to go in and create their own monsters, and for canon to be made by just about anybody. And there's a lot of discussions around what is canon, what is not canon. With the SCP community, I kind of believe that it is all canon. Now, what does that have to do with the Backrooms? Well, if you've been living under a rock, you wouldn't happen to know this. But something that completely just ticks me off about it is because people have started to treat the Backrooms sort of like the SCP community in a way. So what exactly I mean by that is that people have started to build upon the Backrooms. They took this thing that was supposed to be this sort of simple sort of concept that was supposed to be like an endless maze of mono yellow and humbuzz, and there could be something out to get you, there might not be. Are you going crazy? Are you not going crazy down there? And that was sort of supposed to be the original concept. However, once Kane Pixels released his little series on it, and I do not blame Kane Pixels for this in any way, he took it and honestly made it into something very creative. He was not one of the people that was going to have the idea to create hundreds of levels about it, and almost all different kinds of creatures and these different groups that lived within the Backrooms and studied it. Although he did have the idea to have a Backrooms in a universe where the Backrooms was something that was stumbled upon scientists and became a concept of research and a subject of research and all these different sort of things. If you've seen the series, I won't go too deep into it, and if you haven't seen the series, I still won't go too deep into it. When Kane Pixels blew up, people took this sort of idea of, oh, there's a research team behind the Backrooms. It was stumbled upon by scientists. It's something that is a subject of scientific research. So they started taking the Backrooms and giving it different levels, different rooms, different areas. They started giving it all these different kind of monsters and things for people to live in and explore, and to have different habitable zones. And then this started to snowball into the Backrooms having sort of factions of communities and trade routes and trading groups and all these different kinds of things that sort of made it into a SCP community type thing. Now, again, if you look at things like the SCP community and just all these different little communities around it and these fandoms around it, honestly, of course, it was bound to become something that it wasn't. But the thing is, I really do not believe that people should have treated this like the SCP community, because it really expands it to a point where it is something that is not eerie anymore. It's lost its energy, it's lost its sense of dread that it could fill someone with. And the liminal space community, standing on its own, is still a strong community. It is not something that has been completely overblown. There are still communities of photographers just taking liminal space type photos, creating photos, just sharing photos and creating their own little stories and things like that. However, the Backrooms has really become something to dwell on and something to dislike. Now, why exactly dislike it? It's just because it's become almost cringeworthy in a way. And guess what? I'm not a big fan of cringeworthy content. No one would like for their favorite movie to come out with a sequel, and the sequel is pretty good. The sequel is pretty decent, and then there's a third movie, and then by the third movie it's really falling off, and then they make a fourth movie and a fifth movie and all these different sort of things. Not talking about Fast and Furious, but I am talking about Fast and Furious. Now, Fast and Furious, besides, just in general, imagine something like that happening to your favorite movie. It happens to a lot of standalone movies in real life, or at least movies that should have just been standalone. So with these sort of things, people really do tend to take something they love and take it to a level that I can't say unhealthy, but take it to a level that it was never supposed to be, and take it to a level where it's not what it once was or was meant to be. And with the Backrooms now, there's all these arguments about what is canon, what's not canon, what should be considered cringy, what should be considered appropriate, and honestly, to the whole Backrooms community that has somehow created hundreds upon thousands of levels with hundreds of different creatures, just stop. It's all cringeworthy. It's all not canon. I don't even think the Backrooms was ever supposed to have a canon because it was never supposed to become this gigantic internet, Reddit, web series that was meant to have a canon and a plot line and a story and all that. Now again, that is not a jab at Kane Pixels. I think Kane Pixels has taken it and made it into something unique, however, while still keeping that soul idea and soul concept instead of giving it all these different things that was just unnecessary. So I mean, yeah, there's not much I can do about it. There's not much anyone can do about it. You give the internet an inch and they will take it a goddamn mile, and that has been proven time and time again, even just beyond internet spook stories or even just beyond internet urban legends. So to all those SCP community dudes who have taken the Backrooms and treated it like another SCP storyline or another SCP canon event, just stop and leave it behind, man. The Backrooms was really supposed to be a standalone concept. It was supposed to be eerie and dreadful in its own right. However, people will take this thing and make it into this fantastic roller coaster of a story. It's given way to all these different kind of things to be made out of it that is just not. The Backrooms is a simple concept. It's an eerie concept. It's supposed to be something that fills you with a sense of dread and fills your head with these ideas of what it would be like to be there, what would it be like to go crazy, what lies there, what doesn't lie there, what would be real, what would not be real. But it's not meant to be something with 100 levels, and I'm sure the person who created the Backrooms originally would agree with me. In conclusion, internet people, extremely online people, and people who like to take things to new heights and drag them along to become something that they're not, just stop. Get some help.